Hello, hello, my friends in Sasquatch Land. Hello, hello, my friends in Sasquatch Land, and we are out of focus badly. Still out of focus. What is going on here? We're having some technical difficulties all around tonight for some reason. Now I'm out of focus. I don't understand what's going on. There you are. All right, so let's see here. What is going on tonight? That is weird. Oh, there we are. Now I'm in focus. All right, so how is everybody doing tonight? I just gotta apologize. I am on pressure drops for my left eye, and I am having much trouble seeing tonight. I can't read your comments. If I can, I have to go over here like that. Chris is going to do his best to keep up with questions. We're going to take questions as the show goes along. As you know, Chris Connor's here tonight. And Betty is trying to get on right now. We're having technical difficulties getting her hooked up on the screen. I just got one thing. Mr. Flatrock is in the house. Flatrock's mom got ill yesterday morning and had to go to the hospital. So hopefully you guys can all keep Flatrock's mama in your prayers. And I hope she's all right. He is in the audience, so please give him some support and some prayers, and that would be much appreciated. He's a hell of a nice guy. So tonight we have Chris Connor and Betty from the Trail to Bigfoot, and they just recently visited the Unitah Basin out in Utah. They visited Skinwalker Ranch and the surrounding areas. Had some crazy experiences while they were out there, and Chris is going to talk about his new spectrum analyzer that he's bringing out into the field and the new gadgets that are being tested and all that jazz. So I'm very excited for this show myself. I know we're a little bit behind here today. I just want to say I'm going to try and say hi to people if I can see it, so I'm going to get close. We're going to get up on personal right now. Mr. Steve Wolf, how you doing? Blue-Eyed Northern, good evening. The Squatch Father himself is in the house, Alfred Santoriga. Mr. Patrick Nobel, how are you doing? Miss Francesca, hello. Flat Rock, hello, Flat Rock. I hope all is well. I can't read what's going on, but I hope everything's well down at your place and everything you made out all right yesterday. Who else is in the house? Boots on the ground, Miss Diane Fowler. I don't want to miss anybody. And if I did, BF Bud is in the house. So everybody's here. So let's get this show on the road and bring out Mr. Chris Connor. Hello, hello, my friend.
Hey, everyone.
How are you?
Hey, doing well. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well. I would have ran the applause for you, but I can't see which button the applause.
Don't need an applause. Don't need applause. Good to be alive.
Yes. It's good to see you and good to have you back on the show once again. You're a fan favorite here, and I'm excited for this show because we got together last night and I finally got to hear about the Unitah Basin and what went on out there. And So why don't you, before we start up, why don't you just give everybody a little bit of news what you've been up to, because for the last few weeks, and
Did Betty
uh,
make it yet?
Betty's not here yet.
Okay, I guess she's working difficulties.
No, she's not here yet. For some reason, she keeps on going to the other, from last night's meeting to the other channel, so I
Yeah,
can't figure it out. Oh, Mr. Mike Morgan, how are you tonight?
yeah. I saw Mike's there.
Yeah, so Chris will answer your questions. So if you got questions as we move along here tonight, just put them in all caps and he'll let me know, and we'll move on. So why don't you tell everybody how the trip got planned and organized, and
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
go from there.
yeah. Well, I've long said, this isn't my words, but I've always said, follow the data, follow the data. Always let the data follow you and steer you and guide you along the way. And that's was some of the reasoning behind going to the Uinta Basin. A lot of people know that I've always been a big Skinwalker Ranch fan for quite some time, because I saw the parallels that they were showing on the ranch in relation to what we have going on in the Green Swamp. It was like hand in hand stuff that I saw going on. So I started studying it. Became an insider at the ranch, and so when you're a Skinwalker Ranch insider, you get to see the webcams, you get to watch you get to look at the spreadsheet, you get to do a lot of things behind the scenes, and you're privy to. Normally, they do weekly to like bi-weekly meetings with people, take your questions and so forth and so on, and that's kind of what they do there. And so when Phenomicon was advertised that they would have trips that go out to the Skinwalker Ranch, that's when I just said, "Hey, does everybody want to go?" And so we got tickets, and we got the airplane tickets. We had that stuff locked and caught for quite some time. And then when Phenomicon came, then we went to Utah. Utah is an amazing place, Chris. I'll just say you that much. It's very amazing.
So Chris, let's get this in. I'm all out of
Can you
sorts.
see?
So
Can you see?
yeah, no, I'm good. I'm
All
all
right.
out. I'll get it. I'll get it. So what you're a big fan of the Skinwalker Ranch. You
Yeah.
follow them guys and everything.
Yep.
What led you to that point? What led you to seek out the next level of the Skinwalker Ranch? What led you to the scientists out there? What were some of
Well,
the things?
you and I had that. You and I even had RF stuff going on in the Green Swamp. So I'm speaking with someone that was actually there with me in the Green Swamp, and and you experienced this stuff too. So this, it's real. So I just started becoming more interested in this, following the data trail. Does it really exist? Does this stuff really exist in other places throughout the world? And I would venture to tell you, yes, it does. Most assuredly, it does. It's not just isolated to specific areas throughout the world. This stuff is in various places. And part of our data collections part of our data work in our collections, points us and gives us insight to where we can put more puzzle pieces together, connect more dots, and and just analyze it all. You've I've discussed with you before that a lot of these ranches and a lot of these various places have parallels. They line up on maps and all kind of crazy things. And so it's going to be an interesting show tonight. We'll talk about a lot, a lot of stuff, and hopefully Betty will chime in when Betty gets here. But
Yeah,
yeah,
because
it's been following the data.
right, and you got to follow the truth. And where it leads you, you have to pursue. I mean, that's the
Yes,
only way. You gotta pursue it.
right. And I've been getting a lot of kind of like on my YouTube channel. I've been getting a lot of hits because people, I don't know, people just want to see. People just, I guess they want. I guess they No, I don't know if they want me in the swamp or not, just pounding out the swamp. But, you know, people, you lose subscribers and all kind of things because you try to expose people to more things going on. You try to expose people to this and show them, and I've been just getting hits, but and I mean that negatively, but I'm just going to follow the data, and I want people to understand that where the truth leads me, where I think it wants me to go is where I will pursue, and I'm going to go, and I'm just going to show it if I can show it and tell the story as I go, and that's all I can do.
Right. And as you pursue this journey and as you make your way down the line, things are going to open up. There's a whole nother world out there. And
Mhm.
once you tap into that world and start experiencing that and showing, like tonight, you'll show that things are happening at Skinwalker Ranch and they're happening the same in the Green Swamp.
Yeah.
So,
That yeah. So let's talk about the ranch. Everybody knows where the location of the ranch is. That's no longer a big secret. It used to be a big secret, but not anymore since the show came out. So if my sister was here, we'd be able to share some stuff, but she's not. So I'll have to speak, cover her as well. So we went to Phenomicon, and part of going to Phenomicon is to go into these various areas around the Uinta Basin. And one of the areas we went to was McConkey Ranch, where the petroglyphs are at, and Skinwalker Ranch. Those were two areas that I was interested in going to go see. So when we went to Skinwalker Ranch, you get off your bus, you get there, before you get Thomas and Dragon will ride on the bus with you out there, and so they're answering all your questions as you go along the way, from Vernal all the way to the ranch. And you get off the bus, and you're at the ranch, and you look around, you're kind of in amazement, hey, I'm finally at Skinwalker Ranch. This is really cool. And so, you walk up to the gate is where you go. That's as far as they'll let you on, because of Mr. Fugel doesn't want anybody on the property, for, the guys say, for liability reasons. Uh, on the way there, I didn't say anything to, we're on this dirt road, and I didn't say anything to my team members, when we were there. I didn't want to skew anybody's data or lead anybody to any particular direction. But on our walk to the gate, uh, my sister and I felt the same thing happen to us. And we didn't discuss it at all while we were on site. We didn't share any information about how we felt, whether we got EBGBs out of it or whether it was something ominous or not. We didn't discuss this at all. Matter of fact, it was like 2 days later that I asked my sister, uh, when we were walking up to the ranch and we were going to the gate, did anything, or did you sense anything? Tell me what tell me what happened for you, if anything at all. And I had already done told Beata what had happened to me. And when I was walking to the gate, I felt something in my chest. And it I don't know, it's hard to distinguish, but it was something was in my chest, like the lower torso area, and it went up in me like this, and it was like some type of a sensation. I don't know. It was just strange. And then it just kind of stopped, and then nothing. I didn't have any ominous feelings when I was there, and I was looking around. I was trying to do some quiet meditation when I was there, and try to, open any type of communication that I could when I was there. And that was pretty much what I felt. But my sister told me she felt the exact same thing, and that she said something came into her chest as well on her port, and it was in her chest as well. I don't know what it is. And Chris said, "Can you describe it?" And I'm like, "Well, can you, if you're hot and sweaty from a long workout, can you drink like a cold bottle of water suddenly, that feeling you'll get, and it starts to expand all over through your chest like this when you drink that. I don't know if I could say something like that, but it went upward on me, up into my whole region, and then it just kind of like this. I don't know, but the weird thing was I had no ominous feeling. Actually, I had peace. I felt peace when I was there. I felt calmness and serenity, calmness. No ominous feelings at all. At all.
Do you think being open to this now, being open to what's going on with the energies and being open to the frequency thing, do you think that had a lot to do with the way you're feeling things now, the way you
Yeah.
experience things while you're out?
Yeah, I think because over the last ever since what's happened, in the 3 years leading up to, Mark, and then, Mark's abrupt departure and everything that we've been through here, it caused me to take my experience and try to study more into it. And it enlightens you to more things, more doorways seem to make more sense when they open up. Um, Stuff that Tom, uh, even I converse with Tom from time to time, actually often, and Tom would tell me things and caution me about things, and he would also tell me things. He even told me to what to heed for when we went to New Mexico, and he called that spot on. I didn't ask Tom anything about Skinwalker Ranch or anything like that, but yeah, to answer your question, yes, I have become more enlightened.
Oh, there she is.
Hey, she popped in.
Ding,
don't know what I done.
That's
ding,
about
ding.
time.
How'd you get in?
I'm fine. How are y'all?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, me too.
Hey,
So,
Betty, we're deep in it, Betty.
so
Did you done already? Did you show the picture already?
no, we
No,
haven't
not
we
yet.
got that far yet.
I'm
So,
trying not to be too long-winded.
right. So what a lot of people don't know, and we talked about this again last night, the three of us were in the Green Swamp together when all the freaky stuff happened. The three of us experienced things at our homes at the same time now.
Yeah.
One of us will check with the other, is anything going at your home, and the other one will check with the other home. And we did it last night again. And what happened? All three of us got stuff going on at our homes again. So like the psychic lady that came to bless my house said, we are linked from the swamp from some reason. So that's where we were at. We're talking about being more experienced with your feelings towards what's really going on out there in the frequencies. And so that's about where we are now. Betty.
Yeah. It's trying to understand the unknown more with your consciousness than it is trying to physically handle it.
Right. So now you're at the front. You're at the front gate, and you got your guys there, and they're giving you lectures at the front gate. And
Mhm.
before we move along, they gave total 100% permission for them to be filmed, for them to use any of their stuff. So if they're gonna flag this video or whatever, you're gonna have to go to the Skinwalker guys and
Yeah.
get their.
Yeah, we asked, I specifically, I do YouTube work, and so I specifically said, "Hey guys, is there any holdbacks on doing any kind of filming for YouTube or anything like this at all?" And they were like, "Nope." They said, "Whatever you see, feel free to film. It's yours. Do what you want with it. We don't have any non-disclosures going on." And that's pretty much where they draw the line is with their non-disclosures that they can't talk about. But yeah, everything we're going to talk about tonight in regards to that, it's okay. I mean, it's no big deal.
All right. So you want to play the first clip? Is that where you want to go next?
Yeah, let me lead up to that. Okay. Okay. So we left the gates of the ranch and then we head down to the south part of the ranch. All right. And it's sunset and we're getting to the south part of the ranch. We stop, we get out of the bus, and Thomas starts talking. Hey, this is over here. The triangle's over here. This is over there. That's over there. That's pretty much how it was, right, Betty?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, he's talking. And then part of the things I'm going to highlight is he says something that I had not heard in the past before. And then a few weeks ago, it was brought up on Expedition X. All right. So I'm going to give you the episodes. It was talked about on Expedition X, the one with the Josh Gates show. Season 6, episode 7 is the Skinwalker Valley, and season 6, episode 8 is the Valley of the UFO. Okay. So go watch those 2 episodes because they were in the Uinta Basin. And I just kind of pieced it all together and I just couldn't take it no more. I had to actually dig in deeper and find out, okay, what Thomas told us out there, was it true? You know? And this, people, ties in with, I'm telling you, man, it ties in with the power of this phenomenon. And I just can't, you know, let's roll the clip and then we'll stop it at the very end before the snapshots come.
All right. Now you can stop it, right? Because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it.
You want me to drive?
I'll get you on and you can drive it.
I'll pause it when we're ready to pause.
All right, here we go.
We kind of humorously ended the meeting by saying, well, I guess if the ranch doesn't like it, the ranch can take care of it. The next day, we had a afternoon thunderstorm come through, and these individuals had an RV that they were staying in that they were using to shine a laser. We caught it on camera. We have the flash of the lightning coming out of the sky, hit the RV, and burned it to the ground to where the only thing left was the axles. And I'm not making that up.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I don't see Chris Kim. Okay, there you are in the small little thing right there. Okay, so everybody just heard Thomas describe something that none of us had ever heard before. Okay, and so basically what he was saying was that there was people on one side of the ranch that were basically trying to, I guess eavesdrop, spy, whatever you want to do, but there was lasers being shined. Okay, there was lasers being shined at the cameras. Now you heard Thomas talk about that stuff. Okay, so Thomas in the video says that, they briefly talked about what should we do about this because it's kind of being a nuisance. So they left it alone. Then he goes into describing how lightning came down and struck this thing and burned it to the ground. So what I did was I said, all right, fine. I'm going to go, since I've been on the ranch and I know the area of the ranch, I'm going to find out what I can find on Google Earth to see if anything substantiates with it. Because I had seen the episodes on Expedition X. So this right here, you are looking at a Google Earth picture that the little live button is in front of it. But I want to say this is on Google Earth, and you are looking at a piece of land, okay, that's got clear view sight of the ranch, and it's dated in 2015. There's nothing there. All right, there's nothing there at all. But when we play it, we're going to go to the next clip. Bam. All of a sudden, the same spot of land, and you're looking at timestamp, looks like November 2021. Okay, now you see that there's a shed structure, there's a little connex, and then there's a big silver structure right there. That big silver structure, and where the arrow was at, where the arrow was pointing to is where I speculate where that RV thing was pointed, or it was in place where the connex was. And then lightning struck it and burned it down to the ground. So what the owner on Expedition X tells them that it burnt to the ground, and then he replaced it and he put like a metal structure out there. So on 2021, you can see that metal structure there actually on the property. All right. And then on Expedition X, he says he comes out, I guess a few days later, a week later, whatever it was, a month later, and he says he finds this. Bam. Okay. So that has also been timestamped, and you can see the structure. This looks like a connex that comes off a boat, stuff that comes from China and overseas. It's huge. So the guys on Expedition X showing that this thing moved. Now, if I were going to go pay someone to go move that metal object and it looked heavy, I wouldn't have left it like that. So if this is my point. And he also said it was highly magnetized. And this is my point. Those guys on the ranch were discussing what measures they should really take in working with a neighbor, so to speak, to get that stuff to stop. And then you heard Thomas say, well, we just kind of laughed it off and said, well, if the ranch doesn't like it, the ranch take care of it. And lightning comes down, strikes it, burns it all the way to the ground. That the guy admits to on camera on Expedition X. And there's Google Earth that also shows in the aftermath photos also. I guarantee you this piece of land is in direct line of sight of the ranch. And these stories that these guys are telling you, the story that Thomas is telling you is absolutely true. And that the guy's story on Expedition X checks out with Google Earth. And so this stuff seems legit. This stuff going on at the ranch. And just in this one particular case. And he said it was magnetized. Magnetized.
And if you look at around the Connex boxer, there's no tire tracks, there's no bulldozer tracks, there's nothing that would have pushed that to the side. There's only a mark where it laid before, and now it's turned 90 degrees.
Yeah. So if the guy was going to hoax it up, why was he going to hoax it up for? There was no television show for him at that time. You see what I'm saying? There was no television show going on for him. It was only a show going on for the ranch. And then it being highly magnetized. And think back to what they told us about the 4 bulls. The 4 bulls that were found during the Sherman's time period on the ranch, and how the bulls got put inside that container as well. And they were all like comatose or whatever, out of it. And the bulls, when they found the bulls. So that's pretty interesting stuff. And Betty, do you got anything you want to add?
I just got the impression when he was telling us the story, it was whoever was doing it. It was more of an aggravation to the guys on Skinwalker. And he thought it was kind of comical when it got struck by lightning, like karma.
Yeah, they did allude that it was a nuisance.
Yes, because they said they get it all the time, and it's very frustrating because they're trying to be serious and do their research, and then this happens. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll just leave it at this, Chris. People need to be very careful in doing this work and engaging with phenomena, because whatever that was had the ability to understand what was being spoken and brought lightning down. And I don't know how you can call that, and destroyed it and burnt it to the ground.
Like it didn't even want it there. Like the basin didn't want it there. It's got to go.
It was like, hey, okay, not a problem. I'll handle this. And like, wham. Thomas said it very next day.
Yeah, because they were all speaking it. They were all aggravated over the laser lights being shown. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, people need to be careful out there. Folks, I'm telling you, heed this stuff. Don't think for a moment that this stuff's just isolated to Skinwalker Ranch or maybe another place or two. Be careful out there. Be careful what your mindset is in.
So how important is to equip yourself with the right meters now, the right equipment to keep an eye on this stuff so you don't walk into a situation like that?
Well, we use the where did I have I don't have my meter here, but we use the tri-field meter, and you've used that as well, and you've seen that. But pretty much that measures radio frequency and electromagnetism, and for electricity and magnetism is what it measures. We normally use it on radio frequency, but I'll probably using it more on magnetism as well. There was a guy, remember this, Betty, when we get ready to talk about the UFO part a little later on. Remember he said in the classroom that they had heard something from Area 51 from an engineer. And remember what he told everybody, this guy said that they had an engineer that he knew at Area 51, and he told us, be very careful when this happens. You remember that?
Yeah. It was more you could just see it in his face. He was serious when he said that comment.
Yeah, he looked nervous and scared about it when he brought it up.
It was a serious statement when he said it. So
yeah, just by bringing it up, he was kind of nervous about it. But what he was saying was, he said, look, guys, he said, this comes straight from an engineer from Area 51. If you have a compass, he said, if you have a compass, the real type compass, the one that moves around, it's called a lensatic compass, and it starts going nuts with you and going crazy, get out of the area now. Leave the area now. And the guy said that because there is going to be a portal that is fixing to start. So that's what the guy said, man.
That's what Al Santoriga's been telling me that ever since I started this whole other trip. He says it's important to bring a compass with you wherever you go. And when you get that feeling, take it out. And if that thing starts spinning, get the heck out of there.
I'll tell you what, I'll do a shout out for Al. A lot of stuff Al shared when I first got news of who Al was. Al texted me some personal stuff from Messenger. I'm telling you, man, he's been spot on a lot of stuff. He just doesn't go out there and broadcast it and tell people about it. But he's been spot on with a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to frequency and gamma and these other things that he shared with me. And when you first hear these things from people that you don't know, you just, your first impression is, okay, he's a little on the other side, or that person's a little on the other side. I guess I'll get there, or I might understand it. But he's been spot on a lot of things. I hand it to Al. He knows his stuff too.
Yeah, good guy too. Good guy. He'll help anybody out. So I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Okay.
All right, so you guys were at the front gate, and where did you pursue after that? What was the next spot? We'll keep moving.
Well, we was at the gate, and then we went on the south side of the ranch, and that's where I led into the Connex stuff right there. And then we finished on going around the ranch, and that was pretty much it. And oh, by the way, in downtown Vernal, people, my compass flipped on me backwards, and it just was pointing here, and then we got to a certain spot on the main street, and it flipped backwards on me, and it just started doing like that. And then it went back around. I thought that was neat, but it was interesting. That area is jazzed, man. That area is pretty awesome. That area is interesting. That whole area. Fantasy Canyon. Oh, dude. Oh, I forgot about Fantasy Canyon.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, can you tell what happened to Beata at Fantasy Canyon?
Yes. Okay. This place looks like something on the moon. It's got hoodoos and it's all gray. It looks like some sort of volcanic eruption happened and just killed everything. It's just gray. So we get to this place because supposedly there's been activity on the property, and it's a state park, I believe. So we get there. Beata's got to go to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom. She comes flying out of the bathroom, and she just got the weirdest feeling. Her equilibrium was going off. She felt dizzy, I guess. Didn't feel right. So I immediately went in there to see if it would happen to me. No, it didn't. It only happened to her. And then somebody else went in after me just to see, and it didn't happen to them. So only happened to Beata. Yeah. The moment we got there, we were there maybe 5 minutes or less.
Yeah, because I went ahead of everybody. I went ahead of everybody filming because I was private. And Beata, I asked Beata, well, what the heck happened to you in the bathroom? And she said, Chris, it was the weirdest thing. She said, as soon as I got in the bathroom, it was almost like something just covered my ears.
She said it was just like,
she said I couldn't hear anymore.
It was like her equilibrium was
off. She said she instantly lost her hearing, and she started getting like, dizzy. And then she said it was like a spell type for a moment. And she said, "Oh, I'm getting out of here." You know, so I didn't know anything about this at all.
Because you were gone.
I was ahead of everybody.
Yeah, but this place is really neat. Look it up on the internet. Nothing like I've ever seen. It's all gray.
Yeah. I didn't feel
Right.
anything at Fantasy Canyon. I didn't get any weird, any EBGBs or anything like that. But
No.
Did you load up the Petroglyph clip?
not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
I will. Now, okay, let's move along. All right. So we're in Vernal. I'm trying not to be so daggum long-winded, everybody, but I'm bad at that. So, okay, so everybody knows the 1.6 gigahertz thing. All right, the 1.6 gigahertz things on the ranch. All right, part of following the data is you have to get some tools and things. This is called a software-defined radio. All right, it's a USB dongle. You plug it into the computer and you use the computer to be able to use it for a receiver. So I took it to Utah and I took a dipole antenna with me because I can fit it inside my rucksack. All right, normally I would have probably taken something more like this. Okay, a much more bigger antenna in, but I couldn't fit in my rucksack, so I took the dipole. Anyway, we're in Vernal, and so it's very early in the morning, and so I said, you know what? Let me go see if anything's happening out there with 1.6 gigs in there. So what I do is I go ahead and I turn on the spectrum analyzer and the software-defined radio, get my computer up and running, and lo and behold, I notice there's something going on with 1.6 gigahertz. I look on the Skinwalker Ranch web cameras because I told everybody I was already an insider. That's how I'm able to see this stuff. So I went on the Skinwalker Ranch website and I happened to notice, bam, there is Eric Bard on top of one of the towers out there. I believe is where he was at, adjusting a camera lens. And here I am in Vernal, Utah, which is 25 miles, like 25 miles away. And I'm starting to see 1.6 gigahertz move up and down. And the rest of the band is pretty calm and pretty quiet. But no, I'm getting two little spikes going on at 1.6 gigahertz. So I just said, bam, started to record and made the recording that I'm getting ready to show you. But I just wanted to show you that's what was taken. It was using this device. It was using that device, a laptop computer, and a dipole antenna 25 miles away from the ranch. And I was also picking up radio signals. So let's play the second clip.
All right. Before we get there, why don't you explain to everybody about the 1.6 gigahertz first, for those who don't know?
Well, the 1.6 gigahertz on the ranch is what they usually have detected with their equipment, as far as I call it, when the ranch strikes back. When the ranch strikes back, you know, when the ranch tries to intercede, interfere, stop them from doing things. The guys on the ranch have said that they usually will get this 1.6 gigahertz response on their analyzers. And they've been trying to track it down and radio direction, find it and everything. And it's radio frequency is what it is. But they can't, they don't know, they don't have enough data to really kind of isolate for sure where it's coming from and what, you know, they think it's coming from above. But anyway, I'm going to give you my opinion on it as well, but let's go ahead and play that brief clip. It's a 3-minute clip, so we might not need to play the whole thing. Okay, this is just me. I'm just moving around. All right. And that's when I just hit, you know, I hit the record button. And as you can see, there is activity going on 1.6. And there's old Eric tinkering around doing what Eric does. Eric's like a workaholic. And he's out there moving stuff around, adjusting. And I'm sitting here in Vernal, Utah, watching my spectrum analyzer. And it just kept going the whole time. And I thought it was very interesting to see.
This was around 5:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah, and as you can see that, he's still working out there. And So there's a response going on. It's a subtle response, but I'm 25 miles away, mind you. Okay. So what was going on the ranch, I don't know, but I was picking up something where I was. Okay. So let's pause that. All right. So let's pause. Okay.
I can see now.
Okay. So we paused that. All right. So what does 1.6 gigahertz means? All right. This is a dipole antenna. All right. And how I had it was, it's on a little mount like this. You can get them on Amazon. It's nothing fancy. You know, has a little connector on it right there, and you connect it up to that guy, and you're able to see things. So I had my antenna shrunk all the way down as low as it would go for 1.6 gigahertz, and I had it sitting on the table like this, broadside. All right. So this is what I'm going to tell you about right now. Dipole antennas receive and transmit broadsided, not on the ends, not on the end tips, but broadsided. So if I had my antenna laying down on a table like this, and I was picking up signals 25 miles away from the ranch, that tells me that the signals were coming from broadside of the antenna. They were coming from above, or they were coming from below the antenna. One of the two, not from the end tips. And so I said to myself, that is interesting. And too bad I'm not near the ranch right now to be able to see it more closer. Maybe the signal would have been stronger. So my hunch is that by him being on top of the rooftop, tinkering around, doing things, caused some type of reaction to go on the 1.6 gigahertz that we detected that far away. And it seems to be coming from above, is my hunch. Is where it's coming from above.
Were you able to find out where he was?
I don't know what. Well, you have to look at the camera. You would have to look at the camera and see what tower he was on. I want to say he was on one of the bait pens. They've converted one of the bait pens to a command center type thing, and I think that's eventually going to be coming out. On probably next season and stuff like that. It's nothing classified or anything like that, but you'll see a lot more improvements on the ranch coming in the next season is what we'll do. Now, the insiders are not privy to this. We don't get to see what's filmed at all. So I can verify there is something going on with 1.6. Yes.
Right. So you're saying it could come from above or below, but what if you're catching it and you're in the middle and it's coming from both?
What if you're in the middle and it's coming from both?
Right.
Well, I guess you'd be able to. I guess you would have to move the antenna around to some extent to see if you could see if something responds on, because it's live, and to see if something changes. And I did do that. I did take the antenna and I did move it around when I was doing that stuff, and it seemed like it didn't really affect too much. But I just left it like this most of the time, running broadside to the sky and broadside to the ground.
Right.
But I don't.
Almost like.
My hunch is I don't think it's coming from the ground. Not where I was located at. I doubt it.
Right. It's like they're running interference out there. He's trying to make an angle and trying to get something to, jive, and all of a sudden this 1.6 is hitting him and it's just messing everything up, and he's trying to move everything around. That's just the way I perceive it. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
All right. I'm gonna upload one more clip.
Yep.
And so let's delete some of the old stuff so we can continue on. And hopefully I'm watching the time so I don't get too long-winded.
Yeah, we're getting there.
All right. So here we go. All right. So spectrum analyzer. All right. I will share this with you. I haven't put this video out just yet. My spectrum analyzer was behaving pretty much the same in the Green Swamp as it was on Skinwalker Ranch. It was all over the place. So when we went out to the area where all three of us were at, it was like bouncing all over the place. And when I was on the ranch, it was bouncing all over the place. It wasn't really locking in on anything. So the behaviors seem to be the same between the two different locations from what I can tell. And that's spectrum analyzer is what that is. Now, the video I'm going to show you is McConkey Ranch. Look what the spectrum analyzer detected at McConkey Ranch. And we're going to get into the petroglyphs a little bit later on, but I just want to show you this first.
All right, here we go.
Okay, you see all the spirals? Look down below, look at the creature. It's got a round head like a helmet. See it? Isn't that awesome? You got your stick figure over there.
And also, film this right here. Film this right here also.
Hang on.
These ones are night as day. Clear as day.
We're looking at, there is
No,
Portals with the alien.
not yet, on two. Sorry.
Yeah, I see it.
I wonder if we'll get that one.
okay, there is one consistent frequency
Yeah, I
that's
don't know
been
if
going
that's
on
over
since
on
we've
that
been
side.
here, and that's 1595-608. That seems to be predominantly the one. We are seeing some ones that bounce around.
What's that?
1601
Yeah, I saw
bounced
those
up
ones.
once or twice already. The iridium would start at 1610. Okay, so what I want to point out to everybody is this is at McConkey Ranch. This is where all the petroglyphs are at, and it's not bouncing around at all. It is not bouncing. It's got a signal lock, and it's basically saying, hey, I got this one strong signal, and I am locked on it, and this is what the main thing is going on at this location right now. And it was pretty much that one frequency the whole time at McConkey Ranch. McConkey Ranch is 24 miles away from Skinwalker Ranch. It's actually a little bit closer than where we did this at, by about a mile closer. And so my point is that I went out to the Green Swamp and the spectrum analyzer didn't lock on Jack Diddley out there. It was just all over the place. It didn't find any particular strong signal at all. Not like McConkey. And it behaved the same as Skinwalker. My point is this. That is around the satellite transmission range. It is the L-band and the satellite frequencies. Most of the signals that it should be coming from the Iridium satellites and GPS, not GPS satellite. GPS finishes off at 1575. But within this particular range is where I have the spectrum analyzer tweaked to. I have it tweaked to about 1582 through about 1515, or I'm sorry, 1610, 1615. So I have it tweaked to a small little band that it checks. My point is, if this stuff is coming from satellites and it's just behaving as regular satellite frequencies, I should have gotten the McConkey Ranch frequency at Skinwalker Ranch. If this would have been coming from satellites, I should have got the same readings. I mean, think about it. Satellites transmitting down, it's going to be broad. I should have picked up the same frequencies as I did at McConkey on Skinwalker, but I did not. So why?
Petroglyphs, maybe?
I think there's something at the ranch that's interfering with stuff. I think there's something at the ranch that just like a dome or something that interferes with radio frequency, and I hear Travis talk about this all the time. Go ahead, Ben.
While we were at Skinwalker, everybody checked their cell phones because they were all thinking it was going to go nuts, and nobody's cell phone did anything. Nothing.
No,
I had a compass on my cell phone. I had one on my watch. My husband, the same thing. I heard other people talking. Nobody's electronics did nothing.
Yeah.
Except for your stuff.
Okay, so we're running out of time, but
yes.
All right. So before we get into the petroglyphs, let's briefly talk about the UFO. All right. Go ahead, Betty. Let it rip. We're at Trey Hudson's class. Let it rip. You run with it.
It wasn't even 5 minutes into his speech. It was me, my husband, Chris, Beata. She was on the outer edge of the aisle. I was more inside. There was a tall ceiling to floor window in front of us. So we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, there you can see right out the window. There's a huge light pole in the parking lot, and right above the light pole, there's this white cloud object coming into view. And I looked at it because it started like really moving slow. And I thought, what the heck is that? And then my husband saw it and he's like, what is that? And then the moment Ty said it, then Chris saw it. And then everybody else that was on that side of the room saw the same thing. We all jumped up and we was running over each other to try to get to the window. By the time we got to the window, it just zipped. It was there and then it was gone. It just like zipped across the window, across the sky. And it was like this oblong shaped cloud with like this little dome thingy. I don't want to say dome, but it looked like a puff.
I call it an ice cream cone, and like an ice cream cone, you know, like there was something on top of it, like
a puff.
Yeah, there was, you know, we saw this cloud. We saw this cloud that
and it was moving rapidly. It wasn't an airplane. It wasn't a smoke. It wasn't somebody vaping outside.
Right.
It was,
and here, you know, here was Trey. Trey was talking about high strangeness at his area, and that's why he was starting his presentation. And lo and behold, we see the thing in the window.
And there had to have been at least 10 or 15, maybe. I mean, we all
half the class on this side
ran to the window because we all saw it.
Yeah, and I made it first to the window. I was the first one that made it to the window. I didn't see anything when I got there, and one of the guys in the class ran outside, apparently, and didn't see anything either. So
it was gone. I mean,
it got out of Dodge literally that fast.
It was that quick. It was like slow into our vision, and then it was gone too fast. It wasn't an airplane. Planes don't go that low over a parking lot because it was right up above a parking lot light.
Now, do you remember, Betty, the day we went? Hold on, this might actually, wait a minute, this might actually match on real time. All right, this video, I went back and took a video of the ranch area when we were out there. Whoa, wait a minute. It does match. It is the same day.
We were coming back from
Fantasy, and then I said we got to make it back before Eric Bard's presentation, and then Trey.
We stopped by the campground.
This might be it, Chris.
Oh my God, this is weird.
This might be what we saw.
This is great. This is crazy footage to begin with.
Oh man, yeah. Play the cloud. So I took the footage that we were at the ranch earlier that day, and this is the cloud that I remember. I was like, holy cow, that looks like what we saw.
Now, I didn't know you had taken this video. So
well, it was when we was scouting out. It was like when we were scouting out before we went to the conference that day.
Yes, but you showed me last night. You said, look what I got. Tell me what you see. And I went, that's our UFO from the meeting.
So it is the same day.
It is, yes. We came.
It is. This is the day we went to the ground. Yeah, we did Fantasy Canyon. We did. Oh my God.
That's it.
This might be what we saw that day as well. I didn't even put it together until just now.
Well, now everybody should notice that there's only one cloud in the sky.
Yes.
The whole sky, there's one little cloud.
And there was no clouds in the sky when the everybody ran to the window, because we were all thinking, is it clouds? But it zoomed across the window so fast. That's it.
Yeah, but people have to remember, this thing moved like it had purpose.
Yes, but it entered slowly, because I tilted my head and I went, what the heck is that?
Betty, I could have swore that it like paused and stopped.
It was, yes.
Before it said, okay, I'm out.
Yes, it was very slow, because it was enough for me to go, what the heck is that? And then I popped an eye on the arm.
I think that was my defining moment is when I saw the movement like you guys did, and then all of a sudden I could have swore the daggum thing stopped.
Well, it was kind of like
and
a
I was
delay.
like, that's impossible. How could it? You know, that's what made me jump up.
Because it entered the window frame, you know, because there was nothing there, and it started to come in, and it was very slow. And I thought that was odd because I thought, is that smoke? What is that? And then
wow.
I popped my eye. No, it wasn't smoke. But I said, what is that? He looked and he's like, I don't know. What is that? And then you saw it because into frame.
And this is on the same day. This is on the same day. I didn't realize that till this freaking
Neither did I
man.
until just now. That was the day it followed us from Fantasy Canyon.
Oh shoot.
That's
pretty
weird.
wild. Pretty wild.
That's weird.
Oh, daggone.
And we didn't put two and two together until just
No, I didn't put the dates together. It didn't dawn on me, but it all lines up. We were running behind.
Yeah.
I remember that. And then I said, we got to make Air Barge. We got to make Air Barge presentation. This presentation was going to be at 3, if I remember right.
Yeah, we were running.
Was it? No, it was 2 o'clock. And then Trey was coming on at 3. So we saw that UFO looking thing shortly after 3, somewhere around there.
First, and then at the show.
Wow, man, that might actually be what we saw for real.
Yeah, but where was it? I mean, it wasn't hovering around. I mean, because think about the time that it took to get from the camp.
Well, you know, is it moving in this video? Is it? I don't know. I'm moving. You know, we're moving, so that messes it all up. But
and where was it between the time we left the campground to the time we got to the Civic Center?
Wow, it's freaking unreal. Okay, hey Chris, I'm uploading the Petroglyph video. It's 9 o'clock, so we're trying to stay on time.
All right. Is it 9? Yeah, we got 3 minutes left there. All right, so we're gonna add this going up. There you go.
College Jasma. He was the first anthropologist here. He did that.
Oh, this one's much higher. That's much higher. Ain't that something?
What are you getting, Chris?
2.
From
this one point. They've been varying like from 0.9 to 1.1, 1.3. But when I got to this guy, he's up there. And see as I pull it down?
Yes.
See? As I pull it down,
Nothing.
nothing. So if it's cell phones, we still should be getting that.
Well, I'm thinking,
You see what I'm saying? If it's cell phones, we still should be getting that.
yeah, the same.
So here we go. Watch this. I'm going to go slow again. So evidently this guy is got some juice somehow. I don't know, but we'll watch. See? 0.1. 2.3. It went to 2.3.
Spike there.
Drops back down. So, let's see what this guy looks like.
This one's what they call Bigfoot.
Nothing. He's quiet. But when I come here, oh, it's quiet now.
Isn't that something? There you go. You're going to get your spike right at the break. Where that break is, the ledge.
Something. He got.
It's pretty wild how he's pulling signal and then all of a sudden he just ain't pulling signal anymore. How do you think the people that carved these petroglyphs knew what they were doing, why they did it? You know,
They were mimicking what they saw.
Right, but how are they harnessing? You know, obviously they're attracting energy, they're attracting, you know, frequency. How do you think they managed that way back when?
Are you talking about the people who
Carved them? Yeah, who carved the petroglyphs themselves?
I don't think they did. I think there's something else involved. I don't think it's the people that's actually carving it. could be something maybe inside the rock. I mean, I don't know, but I think it's something else.
Yeah, and the meter was on radio frequency, and when I was on site, it's McConkey's in a valley, so and I took the meter and I would spin around in a full 360-degree circle to see if I could pick up the same energy from the town of Vernal. You know, I mean, come on, you know, I'm a radio guy from the you know, in my U.S. Army days, I know enough about it, but I was trying to see if I could get the same signal strengths from different locations because it can the radio frequencies can do something called knife edge diffraction is what it's called, and to where you're in one spot you can pick it up, and the next spot you don't. But it was all on that wall in various places along these rocks that whenever I do finally release the bigger video on it, you'll be able to see it in more detail. And it seemed like the big burly stronger guys, the meter seemed like it was like higher, and actually it was reading peaks around 10, I want to say. You see in the meters 2 to 3, but it was reading peaks around 10 if I remember right.
It
You can
always
see that in
seemed,
the video.
it always seemed to be with the pictures of the images that looked like they were more of a king or they were in charge because everybody else was on a smaller scale.
Yeah,
They
and
were giants.
right, and the instructor that was there with us, the guide that was there with us, told us that they have common traits between Egyptian and Samaritan, from the like their ornaments, their jewelry and stuff that they're adorned with. He said there's a lot of parallels to Egyptian.
I see a lot of Mayan. There's a lot of the jewelry, the way they wear the images, the jewelry, and of course they're experts, not me. But I watch a lot of stuff with the Mayans, and some of the headdressing reminds me of the Mayans. So I don't know.
And a lot of them got the human sacrifices too, and the Mayans were famous
Yes,
for that.
yes.
Too.
You see, some of the images actually look like they were carrying heads, cannibals. So you know there was some images of that, and they were
Yeah.
usually the images of the bigger people, you know, like the giants. It was never really on any images that were smaller than the bigger people. So
Yeah,
So,
he actually said one of the kings on the mountain there looked like Celtic or something like that. Yeah, it's
right.
very interesting. From that's Europe.
yeah,
It's crazy.
Crazy, it's crazy.
I'm infatuated with those petroglyphs. I just drawn to them. I love looking at them.
pictures do them no justice. When you're
Yeah, I'm sure.
there looking at them in person, you're like, wow.
Yeah,
And then you get the pictographs, and those are amazing too. So I mean, there's so much history out there. It's
Well, especially when you see how high they're up on the rock, and you're just amazed on how they even. Of course, there's the theory that it was underwater and they were up higher, but they're just some of the places where they carved them are so far up. So that's what's amazing.
yeah, and we saw the swirly thing all over.
right.
They think it's a portal. We saw the swirly thing all over.
All right, so we're gonna have to do this again because there's a lot that we haven't even touched on. There's a lot of questions that I have. There's a lot of questions that the folks have. We're gonna take a couple questions before we go, but I don't want to. I know Betty's got to go, and my grandbabies are probably itching to get out of their room too. So
Yes, I have a grandbaby too.
so
Hey, I went quick.
no, it was very interesting, but there's just so much more. Before we go and before we take a couple questions, your thoughts individually on the basin and what it holds out there. What are your thoughts on the whole area?
Who goes first, me or Betty?
You can
Whoever.
go. I'm
All right. Based upon what Thomas shared with me personally, and Betty was there also, and so was Beata. So based upon him answering my question, which I probably won't say that because he shared that with me personally. And yeah, it is an area that I'm definitely going to return to. It is an area that I'm definitely going to be looking for Sasquatch evidence, and it's also an area that there is some kind of UFO or interdimensional stuff going on. It is an area of high strangeness, the entire basin area. We had, I mean, if we look at the mileage that we covered in the various places, McConkey, you got the Fantasy Canyon, and then also there's been a revelation that's been revealed on the insiders that I cannot share. There's been a revelation that's involved someone else. It frightened him very much. It did not occur on the ranch. It happened in the basin. It goes hand in hand with what Thomas told me. And I'm definitely going, oh, I'm going back, bro. And I'm gonna drag you out there too.
Yeah,
I'm going back, man. I'm going back. That is an area that needs to be, it needs to really be seriously studied.
And
I think the guys are very genuine.
Oh yeah.
Down to earth.
Yeah.
Super, super, super nice.
Those guys are genuine. They're the real deal. They're just they're like us. They're like anybody else.
They do not come across acting
No.
Hollywoodish.
Mm-mm.
We'll have to share another time when Chris and I kind of felt the same kind of something at various times at the gate.
Yeah, I done told him that already.
I missed it.
I told him I had it in my chest and you had it in your chest too.
Because I was standing there and I was going.
It was like something that was in my chest and it came from the bottom.
I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it started from down here and just started moving upward on me.
Mine was like right in here.
Right in your center? Right. You didn't feel it kind of move?
It was like right in here. And I was like, and I didn't say anything at first.
I didn't either.
It was me until we started talking.
Yeah. And it was like a day or two later when we shared this. I didn't want to skew anybody's experience. I didn't want to look on my left or right and say, "Oh, did you feel that?" You know? And then the person goes, "Well, no, I didn't feel anything, but yeah, I felt something." You know, to be included. No, I didn't want to skew anything from anybody. I kept quiet out there.
Yep. So did I.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing all the trip with us. You seen any questions, Chris, that you'd like to address before we go?
All right. Let's see. Oh my God, there's so many comments. Florida lone wolf, bro. You know what I think. We're gonna go out there at night one of these days. All right. Okay, Lockbeard says there is no interdimensional. That is fantasy sci-fi stuff. There is one universe, but there are things that you cannot see in it. Frequency ranges you don't have the senses to perceive. Right, the senses to perceive. Okay, I'll just kind of look at it like this. Our brain is the only thing that is the only thing we really have to grasp what is reality. And our brains has manufactured that reality for us based upon what is given to us, which is our senses, our eyesight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. Your brain is encapsulated inside bone, is stuck in your skull. And how you could perceive reality and how I perceive reality could be varied and it could be different. And there could be things external to our minds that could interfere with our ability to be able to perceive what we think is your reality. Radio frequency. All right. I'll address radio frequency. Radio frequency, we call it radio frequency because it's really electromagnetic energy is what's really going on. And man created a device called a radio. Radio is really nothing more than the apparatus that we use to be able to discern and measure what this is. Okay. So it doesn't mean that entities, or it doesn't mean Bigfoot, or it doesn't mean interdimensional beings are playing around with radios. It's merely what we are saying is our devices are used to be able to measure these things. These things naturally occur in the cosmic universe that we live in. So interdimensional, we call it interdimensional because a lot of people feel like, this stuff is kind of hard to explain. So when you say there is no interdimensional sci-fi, everybody has opinions of things. And I mean, how do you kind of explain something that hides behind a veil? How do you put in the words something that stays behind a veil? It's not in my reality to where I can see, touch, taste, and smell with my senses, but yet something touches me that I can't see, or something scratches me that I can't see. I mean, how do you explain that to people in words? So people kind of sum that up and say, okay, there's some kind of a dimensional thing going on. So, yeah, there's more and more stuff that we're discovering about our universe, more and more. It's like Travis was saying, how much he said the ranch has taught him so much about how much he doesn't know. And we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn about these things, like that lightning coming down at the ranch. Betty, can you scroll through anything?
Yeah, I can see stuff. Yeah.
Let's see, who do we got? Here we go. How about this one? Francesca asks, "How any hitchhiker issues once home from your trip?"
No.
I can't say anything's happened to me at house. Well, my thing fell off my head. My thing came off my head. So I was in this very chair, and I had surgery on my head. And that's why you guys ain't been seeing me in the bush. And it was like something was petted me on the head twice, and then my bandage come off my head, and then I jumped up out of the chair and took off the Beata, and I was saying words like and I was like, what the H,
Well, I was looking at
I don't say nothing followed me.
No, and I'm looking at this one question from Diane. Wow, immediately at the gate already feeling something. We had been there a while. I don't know, 30 minutes. I wanted to get a picture of the driveway going way down past the gate. So I waited for everybody to leave before I could take that photo. So I was by myself when I started feeling that weirdness in my chest. And then Chris happened to walk up a few minutes later. So we had been there quite a while.
All right. Well, we're gonna do this again, guys. They're gonna go through their footage some more. There's more stuff. Chris, before we go, do you want to tell everybody what they said about Bigfoot at the ranch? Not all of it, but the end part. I'll put it that way.
Stay tuned. I know the area already, buddy.
Right.
I know the area already, and so yeah. Since he shared that with me privately, I'm just going to keep that part of it private.
Oh, that was a private.
It was a private.
Well, it was just like three because we asked.
It was just he shared something personally with us, and so
it was just me, Chris.
It's all more of a reason for us to return. Now, you heard me say us.
Yep, we're going to get everybody back, and hopefully we get Beata this next time. So I want to thank you both for being here tonight, and we're going to do this again pretty soon. I got Mr. Barry Browning on the show next week, so we'll have you guys on after that. So
I really wish we could have got more questions, but I understand everybody's on time constraints, and we'll stick to that. But
it's a work week.
All right. But no, we'll get you guys all back again, and we'll do it again. So we'll thank you, and I'll put you guys backstage, and I'll see you in a couple seconds.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris and Betty from the Trail to Bigfoot.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. What a great show. Sorry that we ran out of time. We all have grandbabies at home now, and Betty's got a grandbaby at home, and I got the 2 grandbabies upstairs, and we can't really go much longer, but I'm sorry that if we didn't get to your questions. We will have them back very soon. We have Barry Browning next week, Tuesday night. And you guys heard Chris talk about and Betty talk about Trey Hudson. We have him coming in November. We also have a new another interview in November that's coming up. That's really it's a surprise, and I can't talk about it right now. But it's going to be a mind blower for everybody. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And you know what comes next, if I can find what I'm looking for here. Oh, this stinks. There it is. You know what Larry says, everybody. Get in the woods, people.